Hi, everybody. I want to greet and thank all my new subscribers. And Glow, I send you my love. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying all the new people who have joined, and thank you for subscribing. Um, I realized that in all my videos, I've never talked about why I decided to go into van life. So I think I should talk about it and explain why I did what I did. I retired, but I never quit working. I just decided that I needed to keep working. I was still physically fit and well enough, and I knew in the future I wouldn't be able to do it. I like to work. I like people. I like being with people. It's just that simple. And I like, doing a job. So I retired, and then I worked at gas stations. Then I got a job at KFC. And in between, what happened was I bought a place, a mobile home. It was a ripoff. I was in a mobile home park. Come to find out, my purchase money and the money I was paying monthly had disappeared, and I really never owned my mobile home. I lost all my money. Um, the state came by and told me it was a gimmick. And so I had to move out of my mobile home that I had spent all this money on because they were rip-off artists. I never got a penny back. The state closed them down, but we never got, the people that were taken to the cleaners never got uh, any money back. So I had at the time a 1989 Mazda little van. And I thought, well, got this van, I'll just sleep in it, put a bucket in it, and I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know about van life. So I was 65. I didn't know. So anyway, I had applied at several places, and one of them was KFC. And I went to the library to return all my books. And when I was in the library, the manager of KFC, happened to come into the lot. And I was returning my books because I had decided I would go into San Francisco and I would live on the streets on my van, this little bitty van. And he saw me getting into the van, and he stopped his car and he goes, "I've been looking for you. I've been trying to reach you." He said, "I want to hire you." And I said, "Well, this is the facts. I just lost the place I live. I'm moving into my van. As of today, I'm going into the city. So unless you can provide me with some place to park, then I can't accept the job because, well, you can park in our lot. You can live in our lot." And he says, "You'll have keys to the building. You can use the restroom." And across the street, it was just a short block. Across the street was an all-night gas station. I could use the restroom over there. So I said, okay, let's try it. So for 2 years, till I saved up enough money and I had to pay all this stuff off, I still owed some money on this stuff. I had to pay all the bills off. So I lived in that little van with KFC for 2 years. I worked for KFC for four to save money, and I moved into a little place. Well, it's a 1929 cottage, and I'm in the middle of a very expensive area. And so 5 years ago, I got double cancers. So from one scan that they did looking for something, they found two major cancers. I had to have two major surgeries in a 6 month period. And in the meantime, KFC would not allow me to take off. I had new managers. My manager had moved on, and wouldn't allow me to take off the time for doctor's appointments. And you have radiation. And when you have radiation, you have to be there every day for radiation for 6 weeks at a specific time. You can't change it. So they wouldn't allow it. So I had to quit. So I quit, and And during all this, I decided, well, I started researching Uber and Lyft, and I went, oh, well, I can still work. So I immediately went to work after one first surgery, and then during the second, I had to take a few weeks off. But I worked through all of this. Through Uber. I had a car, and I started Uber right away after I quit KFC. So I have worked forever. You know, I'm 74. I've worked forever. So I have never taken unemployment. I've never applied for unemployment until COVID hit. Now, when COVID hit, I was working for Uber, and until August of last year, I was working Uber. But it got to the point where people refused to put on masks. There would be four people wanting to get into the car, and they wouldn't have masks on. They wanted to sit beside me. That wasn't social distancing. It wasn't. It was just a fight every day with people who wanted to use Uber who didn't want to follow the mask rules. I I I had to stop driving. It was, I thought, too dangerous, and I'm too susceptible, and let's face it, if I got it, I was dead. I mean, that's the way I figured. So in August of last year, I had to quit because of COVID. But I still had all my bills to pay, so I applied for unemployment. I got some of it. I mean, they went back, but all that big money, $600, I didn't get much of that. But so for the first time in my life, I went on unemployment. So in the meantime, I'm thinking, with everything that's happened, if I become sick again, and the maintenance on this car, I mean, I was driving close to 40,000 miles a year for those 4 years. I was 40,000 miles a year. Lots of money in maintenance and gas. I was making enough to help with my bills and pay my rent. In the meantime, my rent kept going up really high, 20%. So during this, I had to sit down and say, oh, this is, there's a problem here. If I cannot go back to work after unemployment, I'm in deep trouble because my car is no longer dependable enough. Um, so at that point, and I'd already been researching van life, I'd watched Vanlife for over 4 years. I mean, once I found it, I started watching it. So I was watching it and thinking about it, and I said, oh my gosh, it wasn't that hard for me when I did it for 2 years. I didn't do it fancy. I had clothes, I had a storage unit, and it was just easy. So I got unemployment. Well, now I bought a van. During this time, I took my stimulus and I bought a van. And I still owed more on the car than it was worth. So I took a loss on the car. And I thought, if I cannot go back to work, if anything happens, if I get sick again, and I'm off for months, I cannot be in the position I'm in and expect to not pay rent. I can't do that. I never missed a rent payment, and I have every intention of paying my rent payment. With the unemployment, it allowed me to do it. So I never missed a payment during unemployment, during this whole COVID thing. So I decided to, look for a van, and I had started a few years just checking out prices and checking out solar, but it became intense. During COVID, it became intense. And I decided that, okay, if something happens and I can't get a job, I can't drive, I have to have a new car. I can't really afford an electric car. They start at 30,000. So Security, you cannot make those payments. And so you can buy something you can't pay for. So I bought the van. It took me 7 months to build it out. I only used what was at my house, other than solar. I researched solar. I had been researching solar already because I knew that was the route I wanted to go. Um, so that's how I ended up in a van. And I'm still on unemployment, thank goodness. But now, um, thank goodness I went into the van, because now what California did was, on July 25th, they said, you have to look for work and you have to prove you're looking for work, and or you don't get any unemployment. I just really didn't understand what they were talking about because I'm self-employed, so I thought I was in a different category. So they cut me off because I didn't state I was looking for work. Well, I was. I was looking for a car. I wanted to go back to Uber. I did start exploring Amazon, but in Amazon, I have a van, so I thought, well, I could do this. I could do. Well, you have to be able to lift 40 pounds. Can't do it. So then I checked out DoorDash. Well, can I carry 4 bags of groceries up 3 flights of stairs? No, I can't. Okay, I'm just being honest. I I did Uber Eats, and I know how many stairs there are, how many places there are where I live that have no elevators. I can tell you I hit every building. Every flight of stairs I have been on in Davis in 4 years. Trust me. Sorry, shouldn't have said that. But anyway, make a long story short, let's see, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so I went through all of this, and now I didn't fill out. Yes, I was looking, and I was looking. I've been looking for a car. I have been looking, researching, trying to find a way to keep the van and make money and make deliveries. I've been looking for online work, um, and I can honestly tell you that there's still age discrimination, guys. I don't care what anybody wants to say. They never say it out loud, but McDonald's, as desperate as they are, I filled out an application. No recall. No contact whatsoever. You have to fill out the application and then you turn it in. They're supposed to call you. No calls. No calls from all these little places. Now I haven't hit every one. I hit the bigger ones, you know. Then let's talk about Walmart. I could probably get a job at Walmart, except we have a problem. Walmart's a huge concrete store, and I can't walk from one length of the bill. I can't walk from the parking lot into the store without a basket. I need help walking. I can walk, but not far. It's hard, you know. I'm supposed to have a double hip replacement, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not. No. I'll deal with it. I'll make my hips work. And if they don't work, I'll just live with it. So, anyway, now we're being forced, and so they cut me off. So, I sent a letter of appeal, and I said, look, I am looking for work, but nowhere do you say if you're researching for a car. And I found that if you're unemployed, all you have to do is research, and look for a car or whatever. That's part of looking for work. I didn't know that. So I sent them a letter, and I said, okay, I am trying to get a job. I didn't know how to fill it out, and I didn't know how to say it, so I didn't. So this time I'm still, I still can apply. So I applied this week, and I put down, all the places I've contacted. But I've also continued to write to them and say, I need my unemployment. I'm 74, so it's kind of hard to find a proper job that I can do. I can drive anybody anywhere. I love driving. So Lyft and Uber is perfect, but not in a van. So it's a vicious cycle. I couldn't get into unemployment, low income housing because I was working and I had to work to pay the rent. Very vicious. And it's a 2-year wait, and mainly they want you to be homeless. So I am homeless. Guess what? So I'm reapplying for low-income housing. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. But this is my story. So I'm in a van. I'm pretty much forced into the van. My rent went up again in September, and thank goodness it was going to start in September. I was out of there because there was no way I could afford. They had another 20%. I mean, 20% every year. It's too much. Um, and yet it was the cheapest place in Davis. And we're not talking an exciting studio cottage from 1929 with very little work done on it, okay? No insulation. Anyway, I don't want to go there. So this is my story of what's been going on. the first time I get unemployment, and now I'm being forced to look for work. It's that simple. If I want my unemployment, there's only three payments left. That's it. 6 weeks. That's it. So I'm not sure I understand the reasoning behind this. But I'm gonna do it every day. I'm on the internet. I'm doing what they tell me to do. Can I do the jobs? No, no, no. And I've written them a letter basically telling them this is what I can do and what I can't do, and that's all I can do. And if they don't pay me, they don't pay me. If they don't like my research or what I'm doing, that's the way it goes. I am sort of prepared, but not really. But it's three payments I could be using, and they're not willing to do it. I don't understand why, but that's here nor there. So that's my story, and I don't mind. I'm comfortable in the van, and I did plan it, and I have researched solar for a long time, and I've researched this and been looking at it for almost 4 years. I just never knew if I was going to do it for sure. But I thought about the day I couldn't work and what would I do? Because Social Security, it doesn't go very far in California. You just trust me. And as I'm finding out everywhere else too, it's very difficult for older people on Social Security. But we're all in the same boat, so no big deal. And moving into van, I never considered a big deal. Already done it. 2 years, no problem. So that's my story. And I hope I haven't bored you to death, but a lot of people are being forced into this lifestyle due to rent. It's just the way it is. So you just do what you got to do, guys. You live for that day. I don't have yesterday is gone, tomorrow is I never reach tomorrow. It's only today, and I live for the present. So you have a great day, and I hope I didn't bore you to death. And thank you so much for watching.